Dre all day.
Now tuned in to the best of the best. This is the show where you learn the discipline to show up day after day, to do the work, the confidence to put yourself out there boldly and authentically, and the mental toughness to continue showing up, doing the work, putting yourself out there, even when the success you have expected to achieve is yet to be achieved. And on top of all this, you get a huge dose of personal initiative, which is the go-getter energy that moves anyone out there to go and make things happen instead of waiting for things to happen. And we put all this together into one package, one mindset, one method, one philosophy, one book, one brand, one show, one masterclass. It is called Work on Your Game. My name is Dre Baldwin, also known as Dre All Day, and welcome to the show. Today's topic, today we're going to talk business. Specifically, we're talking why you need to focus on building your business more or before you focus on building your brand. This is something that I heard someone actually make that statement. It was a video, some guy who I do not know who he is. I hadn't watched this stuff before, but I was watching one of his videos and he mentioned that, and I thought that the point that he made was a very salient point, and that's why we're talking about it here today. And I'm going to expand from that one sentence that I heard him say into this whole class that we're talking about here today. Branding is a big thing these days, which I think if you use social media in any way, you probably know. Maybe you have a brand that you've been building. Maybe you're looking for ways to expand and build on your brand, and you're curious as to what I'm going to talk about here today, because this may be flying in the face of what you've been focusing on lately. And while we know branding is a lot of things these days, it's huge to be popular these days. It's the popular thing to be popular. What I've noticed these days is that a lot of people, especially with social media platforms, there are a lot of people who would rather be famous than they would anything else, that they would trade money for attention. There are people who will pay money just to get attention, pay money just to be known, pay money just to be able to say that, hey, I have this many followers or this many subscribers or this many likes or comments, or I'm in a position of being an influencer. Even more important to them than actual dollars and cents and actual bottom line of their business, if there even is a business behind what it is that they're doing. Popularity is a very big, very popular commodity these days. Popularity is popular. And we all, on some level, market and promote ourselves, of course, getting the word out about ourselves, about whatever products or services we're offering, whether you're offering yourself to just be followed by somebody, you're offering a product or service you're actually selling, maybe you're just offering whatever it is you want to talk about in that particular moment. Maybe you just have an opinion that you want to share. And through social media, everyone has the ability to do this, and most of us, we use it. People see that social media audience that another person has, and often what the uneducated do is we equate someone's popularity, their online popularity, to business acumen and or business success. But this is not this. I wouldn't say it couldn't be further from the truth, but it's pretty far from the truth. That the connection, the false connection that many people create in their minds between online popularity and actual business achievement and actual business stability, let's say. Some of you may know this from firsthand experience. Maybe you're the person who, maybe you could be very popular, but your business is not going as well as your popularity is going, or maybe vice versa. Your business is going really great, but you're not that popular of an individual, or you know someone who fits one of those descriptions or somewhere in between. Understand that the popularity or the strength of your brand, whatever you may measure it as, and the popularity, or not even popularity, but the stability and the strength of your business are not the same thing at all. And what we're discussing today is why you need to focus on making sure you have a solid business foundation in place before, or maybe instead of, focusing on building your brand. But if you want to build a brand, I'm not telling you that you're wrong to do it. Just make sure that you have a business in place in front of that brand, or underneath, rather, not even in front, but underneath, as the foundation for the brand that you're going to build. And as we get into the points of today's class, you'll understand exactly why that is. So point number one, today's topic, again, is build a business before you build a brand. Point number one, understand that a brand does not come with business. It's not a built-in feature. When you get the Facebook app on your phone, you get the built-in feature of You can type in a status update. You can post a video. You can post a picture. You can run an advertisement. You can follow people. You can ask people to follow you. You can start a group. You can start a business page. Of course, you have your own profile. You can get the Messenger app. They'll connect you to it and tell you to get the Messenger app. All of those things are built in to the Facebook app when you get it. You understand that? Those are built-in features of the app that you can use right now. You get the Instagram app, you got the opportunity to post a video, a longer video on IGTV, a photo. If you got a certain number of followers, you can put links and run advertisements. You can like people's stuff. You can follow other people's stuff. You can ask people to follow you. You can save some of your stories to highlights. These are all built-in features that come with the app. You get the app and all these things come with it. You understand? But understand something, when you build a brand, if you're following my metaphor here, just because you have a brand, just because you are popular, whatever you consider to be popular, just because you have X number of followers, or you consider yourself to be an influencer, or other people do as well, that does not come with business, or is not built into the application that you get business just because you have a brand. They are two separate entities. Understand that a business can exist without a brand, the same way that a brand could exist with very little business in place. So what do I mean when I say business? Business is your mechanism for creating exchange that leads to revenue. Let me say that one more time. Your business is your mechanism for creating exchange, which leads to revenue. Now, can your brand be part of that equation? Absolutely. When your brand is strong enough, again, that enough is a very relative term. You got 200 followers, but your brand could be strong enough for a niche market or niche market, however you like to call that. That brand can be the thing that brings people into your mechanism, whatever your mechanism may be. Maybe it's a sales funnel, maybe it's a website, maybe it's one particular product or service offering that you're making. Maybe it's you being an affiliate salesperson for somebody else's product or service. You don't make any of your own, but you sell other people's stuff, and you being popular enough, they'll go to where you tell your audience to go. They go there, buy something, and you make money because of that. So your brand can be a part of the go-between between the mechanism for creating exchange, which is that product or service being sold, which leads to the actual revenue. But the business is the mechanism itself. So what is that mechanism for you? What is the mechanism for you to actually generate revenue? See, your Instagram following is not a mechanism for generating revenue. Instagram following just means you got a certain number of people paying attention to you, maybe paying attention to what you post, because you know that not everybody who's following you gets to see everything you post these days. That's Instagram/Facebook has done that to us, to where you got to pay money just to get the people who said they want to follow you to see your stuff, which is kind of crazy, right? But they can do what they want because it's their platform and you own it. Their mechanism is that platform and the advertising that they can sell on it. So when you buy an ad to boost your post to make sure all your followers see your posts, which is crazy when you really think about it, that's Facebook's mechanism for making money. What is your mechanism? Getting another follower is not a mechanism. Again, it's potential for you to send that person somewhere, but you got to get their attention first, which you might have to pay for. Then you got to send them somewhere. And then that somewhere that you send them to, that mechanism has to do its job to get that person to what we say in online sales or any type of sales, to convert and become revenue for you. And convert means you're giving them something they want, and in exchange, they'll give you something you want. Usually it's going to be money. You're giving them some product or service or experience. They're getting the money. So what is your mechanism for creating exchange? That's the business. Just because you have a brand does not necessarily mean you have a mechanism in place, nor does it mean you have any idea how it's working, what it's doing, how to fix it, how to make it better. Could you explain it to another person? Could you show someone else how to do it? All these things are the factors in whether you actually have a business in place, or do you just have a brand, or hey, maybe you have neither. And you're using what I'm talking about here today as a primer for you to get started. Understand that there are lots of business people out there, and I know many of these people who don't have YouTube channels, or if they do, not many people know about their channels, or an Instagram account, again, or if they do, not many people know about it. And they're not telling you how great they're doing. They're not making videos showing you their lifestyles. They're not making posts telling you how things were terrible 3 years ago, but then they made $3 million in 2 weeks and now they're doing amazing. And look at all these great places I'm traveling to. There are people who do that, but there are people who are doing very well business-wise who aren't telling you anything online about how great they're doing. Not everybody who is doing solid business is letting everybody know about it through their brand. That's the point that I'm trying to make to you. So just because Let's say that you're looking to build a business. You want to become successful, however you define that, in business, and make things happen with your business and do all that stuff and make money for yourself and take care of yourself and your family and live out all your dreams and do all those things. Understand that doing that does not require you to broadcast the news to the internet. You don't have to tell everybody about everything that you're doing. Your business doesn't have to have you as the front face of it. You don't have to be in everybody's faces as you, as your brand or your likeness or your image, whatever you call it. You don't have to do that just because you're doing business. You don't have to do that in order to do business. And even when your business is doing its thing, you don't have to tell everybody about it. They don't have to even know that you're you or that you're doing what you're doing. You do not have to be famous to conduct business. You understand? You don't have to be trying to be famous to conduct business. You do not need followers in order to have customers and clients. Let me say that one more time. This is a very, very important point. This is the most important point right here. You do not need followers or subscribers in order to have customers and clients. Unless your subscribers are people who are actually paying you for whatever it is you're selling. Now, that's a different type of subscriber. I'm talking about online subscribers, a follower on LinkedIn, or a friend on Instagram, or a follower on Instagram, or subscriber on YouTube. You don't need those in order to have a business. It's one of those things, as they say, it's a nice to have, but you don't need to have. There's a difference between the two. It's nice to have followers and subscribers, but if you're running a business, you don't need followers and likes and comments and quote engagement, close quote. All of those are what in the business world we call vanity metrics. Meaning they are metrics, they are actual numbers, they are actual data. And we talked about the data deciding, depending on what you're trying to decide, but they're vanity metrics, meaning they make you look good to people. And that's what a brand, one of the things that a brand does, it makes you look good, makes you look good to an audience of people. And it gets certain people to think a certain way about you just because of your presentation. That's vanity. Putting makeup on is vanity. The way that you dress every day, that's vanity. Buying some nice clothes, that's vanity. You're doing that to make yourself look good, make yourself feel good, make yourself look good in the eyes of other people, and people will perceive you a certain way based on the way that they see you, based on what they think about your look. So it does matter. It can do something for you, but understand that those vanity metrics do not necessarily equate to the bottom line of your business. Often they don't at all. They can contribute, but again, it's another step that needs to be taken by taking those people, whoever they are, wherever they come from, through your mechanism that's actually going to produce the revenue. You do not need followers or subscribers or likes to have customers and clients. Most of your followers and subscribers anyway, just to keep it all the way real, any of you who run a business, you understand this. If you run a business and you also have a brand, like the way that I do, I have a brand where I'm online, I'm using Instagram stories, and I'm on Facebook, and I'm on YouTube, and I'm putting out all of this free content, and I'm talking to people, and people can communicate with me, and it doesn't cost them anything to do it. But at the same time, I have a business where I'm selling products and services and making offers, and there are mechanisms, plural, in place in order for me to generate revenue. I want you to understand something. Some of you know this already, and some of you don't. I'm going to tell you right now. Most of your followers and subscribers through your brand, most of them are freeloaders, meaning they ain't buying shit from you. So when I say a freeloader, it's not necessarily a bad thing. Listen, with certain people online, I'm a freeloader. A freeloader is a person who is taking in and utilizing and engaging with all the free stuff that you put out there. But you also have things available for sale, and that person is not interested, nor are they ever going to buy anything that you're offering. The majority of your followers and subscribers and likers and commentators, or whatever you call them, on your online that are connected to your brand, the majority of them are not also customers. Only a small percentage of them. I don't care who you are, how strong your brand is, how great you think you are. Most of your followers and likers and commentators and subscribers are not buyers. Some of them are. Now, depending on how big your audience is, then you'll get more and more buyers as the audience gets bigger. Maybe if you get better at conversion and figuring out how do I get these people from here to here to here through my mechanism to turn them into revenue, you can do more and more and more. The better you get at it, the more you can do. But there will always be more than 50% of your audience who's taking in your free stuff, but they're not buying anything. That's just the way that it is. That's just the way that the game works out. It doesn't mean you're doing anything wrong. It's just the way the game works. Followers and buyers, ladies and gentlemen, do not always overlap. Just because somebody's following you doesn't mean they're buying something from you. And just because somebody's buying something from you, here's the other thing you got to understand. If you were to look, any of you who has a business and you also have a brand, go through your buyer list and then look up those buyers and then see where are those people when it comes to your brand. They are not necessarily the same people leaving all the comments. They're not the same ones who are going back and forth in the captions or comment sections or engaging with everything that you post. They might not be engaging hardly at all. You may not have ever noticed them before when it comes to your brand, engaging with your brand. But when you have something to sell, you keep seeing that name pop up. You keep seeing that purchase come in. Because some people who are buyers they're not going to engage with you that much on social. And some people who engage with you all the time on social aren't buying a damn thing. And there are some people who do both. They engage all the time and they buy. But those three groups do not have to overlap. Again, just because somebody's a buyer doesn't mean you're going to find them in your comments every time you post something. And just because somebody's in your comments all the time doesn't mean they're going to buy anything from you. If you go look it up, you can see this for yourself. I'm not making this up. This is not hearsay. You can go see it yourself for your own business. You as the business owner, you must know the difference between your followers / subscribers and your customers. You got to know who's who. You got to know who the customers are. You got to know who the followers are. And you got to know what kind of conversation you're having with the customers versus the conversation you're having with the followers. The people who buy from you are often not the same who are liking and commenting on your pictures. You should know that. You should know who's in both groups, and you should know how to have a conversation with each of them, based on what point you're trying to get across. Point number 2. Today's topic is build your business before you build your brand. Point number 2, building your brand often costs you more money than it makes you. It costs money to build a brand. Editing and shooting and creating and curating and advertising, all of those things cost time and they all cost money. Making a video, you got to first of all figure out what kind of video you're going to shoot. Turn the camera on. You got to shoot the video. So somebody's going to be shooting the video, whether it's you or you got a camera person or photographer who's going to actually shoot the content. Then it has to be edited. It has to be formatted and rendered into an actual finished product. All of those things have to be done. Then you can put the thing out. That doesn't make money just because you put it out, right? Now you get people who can watch it and engage with it. Maybe from that point, you can get some of those people who watch and engage with it to go to the next step, get into your mechanism, and maybe some of them go through that funnel and come out as revenue. Maybe. All of those things, though, cost money. Editing, shooting, creating something, the time it takes to sit down and write a blog post that you're going to put out for free, or an email that you're going to send, or find the right picture you're going to post on Instagram and edit the picture and put the right filter and all of those things to make it look perfect and then put it out and get all those likes. All of that stuff costs you time, and time is money, as they say. It's money and it's life at the same time. Because time is not equal to money. It's worth a little bit more, but money is under the umbrella of time, right? Because the time that you spend doing one thing, you can't spend that time making money. Advertising. If you want to get all of your followers to see something that you posted, you got to pay Facebook money for you to get your post to the people who already said they wanted to see it. Interesting, right? But that's their mechanism. That's Instagram's mechanism. And 93% of their money comes from advertising, if you didn't know. Curating, figuring out what's your best stuff and making sure you get it in front of the people when they come see it, because the price that we have all agreed upon as a public, the price that we've agreed upon for a person like me or you to at least prove our value to an audience of people, the price we've agreed upon is free. That's why you get a free podcast. That's why you can subscribe to somebody's email list for free. That's why all these social platforms, for the most part, to follow somebody and see what they're talking about is free. Now, if you like them enough and they making you an offer and say, hey, why don't you come over here to this mechanism? Then you go there. You go to their website. You join their email list. You go buy their book. You sign up for their course. You come to their event, whatever it is that they're doing. But you don't have to. You can just keep following them for free and be the freeloader. That's fine. Not all of us are going to buy from everybody that we follow. So what's going to pay for your branding? You got great photos. Who's going to shoot the photos? Who's going to edit the photos? Who's going to curate the photos and find the right ones and make sure the right filters are on and then post them and get the right caption and the right hashtags? All that stuff takes time. Who's doing that? If you're doing it, okay, that's costing you time. And that time you can't spend doing other things because you're doing that. If you have another person doing it, you got to pay that person. What is going to pay for that? Not who's going to pay for it, but what pays for it. Your business can pay for it if you have one, and hopefully doing so, paying for your brand with money that you're making from your business, hopefully it serves your business in return. Hopefully they're symbiotic. In other words, if you're going to, let's say you're a model, all right, you're a model, you're a fitness model. You work out, you got a great body, you're in great shape, and Women want to have a body like having abs and hips and butt like you. And if you're a man, they want to have the muscles and the biceps and the chest and the abdominal muscles like you, right? That's your business, is that you help people get in shape with your fitness plans and your meal plans, and you do personal training online and things like that. That's what you do. That's your business. For your brand, you post these great pictures of yourself and photos of yourself with the great captions that are really engaging, and people are paying attention to all your stuff, and you're getting all these followers. That's the brand. Now, who's paying for the photo shoots that you're doing? Who's doing the videography for you? Who's going to edit those videos and curate them and make sure that they look right and get them posted and make sure the audience stays engaged and pay for the advertising to boost your post to get seen by more people who already said they wanted to follow you? All those things cost money, but it makes sense for you if you have it set up a certain way that every time you get more people following you, you can eventually get them into your mechanism, which could be buying your nutrition plans or buying your workout guides or signing up for your online course or coming to your event or buying your book or whatever it is you have to offer, your workout gear, whatever it is that you're offering. The more people you get following you, they enter as freeloaders. You can turn some of those people into customers once you figure out what your system is. So it makes sense for you that every dollar you invest into your brand to get more people to know your name and follow you for free, the more people you eventually get to go through that funnel and eventually come out as revenue on the other side. In this way, your brand and your business are symbiotic. You want your brand and business to be symbiotic if you're going to have both. How does one feed the other? That way, every time you're doing one, you know you're helping the other one at the same time. While there are some people who are able to reverse the process, such as build a brand first, get very known, then make a whole lot of money from it, understand it may take a lot of time and money before your brand starts producing revenue if you do it that way. That's like putting the icing on the cake before you actually made the cake. All right, that can happen. It's happened for many people out there, but understand it takes time to do that. It takes a lot of time to get people to know you well enough that they trust you so much that they'll come into your mechanism, then buy something from you. But when you first start with building a brand, you don't have a business in place. You have no mechanism. The business is the mechanism. Before that brand produces revenue, again, you may be in some time and you may be in some money. When I first came on the online space, I was making videos and blogging for years, from 2006, until 2010, before my brand started actually doing something to produce revenue for me, because I had some popularity with a niche market of people. I was able to send them to a mechanism where I was selling things and I was able to generate revenue from it. And that way, my brand started to help my business. They became symbiotic at that time. But before that, I didn't have the mechanisms in place. I didn't have a business in place. I had a brand, but I didn't have a business. I didn't come in the game saying I'm going to make this into a business. I just came in the game creating content. This is before we were using the phrase social media. Twitter didn't exist. Instagram didn't exist. Facebook didn't exist. YouTube didn't even exist when I first started blogging. So these platforms weren't there. I didn't have this in mind as a plan, because where was I going to implement this plan? These words didn't even exist. But when I saw there was an opportunity that could turn what I was doing with my brand into a business, I had to learn some things. I'm still learning to this day, and was able to create a mechanism to make those things start working together. And to this day, still working to optimize it. There's always ways to get better, and things are always changing. So even when you feel like you got it perfect, things are going to change on you, and you got to figure that out. Along that time, like I said, I started creating some of my own products or services. That became the business. Now, the videos didn't really cost me time, because I figured out a way to make it symbiotic. I was playing professional basketball, but when I wasn't on a team at the gym playing with the team, I was at home working on my game so I could be ready for the next time. So that was serving, that my practice on the court was not only serving me being ready for my next job as a professional player, but it was also helping me get ready. It was also helping me actually create content that was building my brand, and the brand was also helping I had two businesses going. One mechanism was playing professional basketball. I get paid for playing there. But my other mechanism was having that brand online and having dreallday.com and websites, Hoop Handbook, selling programs, selling products, eventually led to selling services, other offers and things like that. So I figured out a way to make it all work together. And this is one of the insightful questions. The most important insightful question that I asked myself back then was, how can I continue to do the thing that I love doing, which is basketball, while also giving myself some control over the process and over my revenue? Because there were times where I wasn't always employed as a pro basketball player, and I didn't have control over when I would be employed again. I mean, I could work hard and reach out to people, but somebody still had to decide that I was employable before I got it, no matter how hard I worked. And I didn't like the fact that I didn't have enough control. So I asked myself a really good question, and that insight, that question led to me setting up these mechanisms that I'm talking about. And this didn't cost me a lot of money, but it cost me time to figure this out. So understand that that's an investment you got to make. That's the most important investment you got to make in building your business if you have a brand first before you even start thinking about a business. Point number 3. Today's topic is build your business before you build your brand. Understand the reason why this is the most basic reason why it's important to build your business before your brand is that your business pays the bills. See, many people will create or they want to create a brand simply to serve your ego because it makes you feel good to know that you're popular and to know that everybody else knows that you're popular. It serves our ego. And there's nothing wrong with serving your ego because we all have one. It needs to be served in some way. While there are intricacies and possible exceptions to this, of course, I'm speaking in general terms here in terms of your business paying the bills. Some people, your brand can pay the bills because you're popular enough that you tell people, again, do something, they're going to go do it. And that makes you money. And you look at that as, well, my brand did it. And maybe you're right. But there's a mechanism that it has to go through. Somebody's business, your business, somebody's business before the revenue comes out. A brand is a great to have. Like I said, every day when I'm out in public, there will be people who see me. They recognize me from videos I put out or from social media, and it's great. It serves my ego very well. It makes me feel good to be recognized by people for what I've created online for my brand. However, if I'm outside, I might be on my way to Whole Foods. I might be walking to Whole Foods and somebody notices me on the way and says, hey, I watch all your YouTube videos, and I wave back to them, take a selfie with them, talk to them for a minute maybe, and all that's cool. But guess what? Watching YouTube videos makes me no money. I mean, it might make you a couple pennies on the dollar for ad revenue, but that's not the business that I'm talking about. Because when I get to Whole Foods, I don't know if any of you ever shopped at Whole Foods, or you can't pay for anything at Whole Foods with pennies. I don't think they have anything that costs less than $1. When I get to Whole Foods for those groceries, or if I take my laptop to the Apple store to get the battery replaced, which is something that I actually just did recently, true story, or I go to the strawberry farm here in Miami and I want to pick those freshly grown strawberries and get me some cinnamon sticky buns, I can't get to the register and say, hey, Whole Foods, hey, Apple Store, hey, Strawberry Farm, I got 100,000 subscribers on YouTube, or hey, I just picked up 10 new followers on Instagram in the last 2 hours. Let me pay for this food with that. They're gonna look at me like I'm crazy. They're gonna call the authorities. I can't tell them how many people watched my IG story the day before. Business is the exchange, right? Exchange of resources between entities. Usually that exchange involves money. Now, are there exceptions? Yes, of course. I've traded on my brand for business many times before, but business is always business, meaning it's always going to come down to somebody getting money somehow in exchange for something else. And if you want to get to the most basic level of business and get the most business done the quickest, you need to be exchanging with money, because with money, you can get a lot of things done. As the saying goes, money talks, and everybody speaks their language. So the business is what's paying your bills. The business pays for your food. The business pays for the clothes on your back. The business pays for the roof over your head. Your brand is fine, is cool to have. But again, you don't want to have a brand and have the popularity, but then have no business to go behind it. Because somebody's eating off your brand. It might be Mark Zuckerberg, might be the guys at Google who own YouTube. Maybe they're eating off your brand more than you are, because all your followers, they're looking at your stuff. But who's making the money? If it ain't you, somebody's making it. Time and attention are worth money. If you're not making it, somebody's making it. And you don't want to be a person who has a brand that fools a lot of people into thinking that maybe you're really successful business-wise because you have this solid brand and all these people following you, but you have no business behind it. So then you don't really have any power to do the things that you want to do. Let's recap today's topic, which is why you need to build a business before you build a brand. Even though branding is very popular these days, popularity is popular. A lot of people want to be popular. It used to be people wanted to make money. That was the main thing people wanted. Nowadays, people want to be famous because it looks like it's so easy to become famous because it's so available to everybody out there. So a lot of people are looking to build brands, but they're not focusing on their business. And so today I'm trying to help plant the seed in your mind that it's perfectly fine to build a brand. I've done it myself, so I couldn't tell you not to do it. At the same time, you got to pay attention to your business. Point number 1, a brand does not come with a business. It's not built in. Business can exist without a brand though. Business is the mechanism for creating exchange, which leads to your revenue. And there are a lot of business people out there who are not known. They don't have strong brands. You wouldn't even know who they were, but they have a very solid business going on that is bigger than most of the people that you know of who have a brand. You do not need followers in order to have customers and clients. Most of your followers and subscribers, they're freeloaders anyway, meaning they're buying nothing from you. Followers and subscribers do not always overlap with buyers and customers and clients. You as the business owner need to know the difference between them and who's who, because the people who buy from you are often not the same as the people who are liking and commenting on your pictures. Point number 2, your brand often costs you more money than it's actually making you. Editing, shooting, creating, curating, advertising, all those things cost money. What's going to pay for that? Your business will pay for it if you have one, and hopefully you can set up your business and your brand to the point that they're symbiotic, meaning whatever you do in your business serves your brand, whatever you do in your brand also serves your business. While there are people who are able to reverse the process, such as building a brand first, getting known, then making money from it may take a lot of time and money before the brand is producing revenue. So you got to really think about and strategize about, even if you've already begun, how am I going to make these two things work together instead of them being two separate entities? Point number 3, business pays the bills. Many people want or they create a brand simply to serve their own ego. And while all of us have egos and it feels good to be recognized out in public for what you posted on social media, understand when you show up to Whole Foods or the Apple store or to the strawberry farm and it's time for you to pay for your groceries and your goods and services, you can't tell them how many followers you have on social media as if that's going to pay for it. Most of the time, that's not going to be enough. Now, are there exceptions to this? Absolutely, there are. You can do brand advertising with somebody. You can do an influencer campaign. Say, I'm going to shout out your product or service every day for 3 days straight, and that'll be worth X number of dollars, or however you want to do it. Yes, there are exceptions to this, but generally you understand the general rule of what I'm saying here. Are there exceptions? Yes. I've traded on my brand for business before, but remember that business is always business, and business is the exchange of resources, usually money, in exchange for goods and services. And the more to the basic level of business you can get to, meaning dealing with money, the more power you have, the more influence you have, the quicker and more easily you can get more things done. That's why you build a brand before you build a business. Work on your game. Dre all day.